Well, I'm kind of worried about like graduation. I have a lot of friends who have graduated and they can't find jobs right now.
I'm 70 years old and I'm still working.
Just the struggle, the day-to-day struggle that many people have to just make ends meet.
The fact that there's less money for higher education sort of directly affects where I come from.
We have an educated unemployed class.
I guess the general uncertainty. What it is, I'm never quite sure. And so I've stopped spending, and I guess a lot of other people have, and therefore we have the big problem that we've got today.
Hope Street Group started in a living room in Los Angeles.
At the time we said, given how much time we're spending complaining about it, how much more time would it take to actually do something about it? It turns out actually a lot more time.
We founded Hope Street Group to try to reframe the debate. It's not that we could either have fairness and equality or we could have growth and competitiveness. We actually needed to have both.
We started off very aspirationally and said we're going to start with the presidential election in 2004. We're going to develop relationships with all of the candidates for president and we're going to talk to them. Much to our surprise, we had a very rapt audience.
When Hope Street Group began, the premise was something that I and my family believe in deeply, the opportunity to really have a serious discussion about equity and access in this country.
I found myself utterly compelled to join and be a part and contribute as much as I could. I can't think of anything more important than trying to bridge the political and rhetorical divide in Washington.
I think what Hope Street has done, they really thought about harnessing all that talent, which often doesn't get a chance to really involve themselves in policy work.
Hope Street Group's focus is bringing together diverse groups of people from the worlds of business, civil society, politics, to problem solve and to be very action-oriented.
It is also unique in its mission to really stay clear from those things that divide us as a nation.
We have really extraordinarily good relationships with pretty much all of the major think tanks of the left and right. The things we say start to appear very quickly in Senate debates and presidential campaigns and at the local level. We can see it happening already.
I'm involved with Hope Street Group because it pulls together really influential people. The issues are really addressed clearly, and I think we have a chance to get something done.
I'm attracted to people who want to solve problems, and I think this is a group of people who fundamentally want to solve the hard problems.
We've been able to bring together, and over quiet dinner, warring parties, people sometimes won't even speak to each other in public, and they're able to have a civil and productive conversation. When there's a camera, when there's posturing, that leads to hypocrisy, and what we need are results.
At Hope Street Group, we're very proud of our ability to build coalitions of the reasonable. We've done that in education around the stimulus package and recently in healthcare, and we intend to do the same in job creation. Over the last 2 years, we have created the Economic Opportunity Index, the only tool of its kind. This is revolutionary because it enables us to quantify and benchmark drivers of economic opportunity.
The people who think that Manhattan students are smarter than the students in the Bronx, they're wrong, and they shouldn't expect less from us, they should expect more from us, and they shouldn't judge somebody or the Bronx by their scores, because I bet you all these students are smart, very, very smart.
The idea that a teacher in the Bronx should be contributing to a policy paper on education seems so obvious, yet it's become this revolutionary idea.
The policies that are in place are moving towards the ideal of where we want to be, but don't understand what is actually going on in the schools and the reform that's needed at the school level.
And I think for us to have any sort of real reform and real change in education, everyone has to be on the same page and everyone has to be part of the conversation.
We are responsible as a school no matter what situations our kids are coming from. Sometimes it's us pulling out of our own pockets to develop a book system or a library that we don't have in our school. We don't have textbooks. We don't have things of that nature.
The state of healthcare, big thumbs down.
I work freelance. I can't pay for my own health insurance. It costs a fortune.
Well, my dad's going through it right now with healthcare, with surgery on his hand. And he put it off because he wasn't insured. And now he has atrophy in his hand, and he doesn't know if he can get the full use of his hand back. We have to realize that it is an immediate issue.
We've battled healthcare insufficiency in this country for decades. We've got to win this time. We have an incredibly wide group in the healthcare working group. We have Democrats, Republicans, we have industry people, we have consumer advocates. And yet, even in this diverse group, we're able to come up with a series of 6 or 8 principles that we can all agree on to move our country forward in a positive direction. And if people of goodwill from all political perspectives can agree on these principles, that could be the tipping point which makes healthcare reform possible.
I'm inspired by the commitment of the folks here, by the diversity of the folks that have come to spend these 2 days, by the ambition and the tenor of the conversations, and by the fact that we're all leaving here with some real to-dos.
We really need someone looking out for the common man.
Think of the public who put you there in the first place.
I ask you to put aside your own career ambitions to have a dialogue with people who have different views than you do.
We want you to really rise up and take us somewhere.